Welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 18th of July. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you the overall strands to look out for. Please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces in forensic detail. Now, as this week begins, Venus, the planet of relating, but also of loot, moves into the sign of Cancer on Monday. This is wonderful if we want to think about how we can improve our immediate physical environment. So some people are likely to be picking up the paintbrushes and making some changes, perhaps to furnishings, over the next few weeks. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, even the outdoor space could be an area that you try to beautify. But also at the start of this week, Mercury is face to face with the strident and powerful energies of Pluto. Pluto's in the part of the overall zodiac which is to do with the more physical world, whereas Mercury is just leaving its recent home in the more emotional Cancer. So there could be some kind of intense discussion at the start of this week, but then on Tuesday, as Mercury makes its way into Leo, this is a more outgoing, friendly and affectionate sign, and an opportunity to think more about how we can connect and socialise. With Venus in the 4th house now, gatherings in our home environment could prove popular. But the big change this week is the Sun's move into Leo on Friday. And that's because the Sun governs the sign of Leo. But before it says goodbye, it also goes face to face with Pluto. So this clash between what we need in terms of our protection and security, the more nurturing side of life, with that harsher physical reality, it's something that is going to be very manifestly obvious to us all. But I think once the Sun gets into Leo, it's kind of saying, how can we find the inner resources in order to deal with balancing these different elements of our lives? I think it's a lot to do with a general instability that's going on in the world. And part of that is because Uranus, the planet of restlessness, is aligning with the North Node in Taurus. And basically we're getting the kind of consequences for our actions over many years, but because Uranus is the planet of truth and the sign of Taurus is very much about resources, some of that is to do with the cost of living crisis. And the conjunction between the North Node and Uranus will peak next week, and I will tell you about that then. Of course, we've also got Mars in the sign of Taurus too, which technically is not its best location, and that can make people a little bit more sort of resentful and outspoken around financial issues. So we are seeing more activism as people push back against any very difficult conditions that they're living in. So there could be a big flavour of that this week, but I think Mercury and the Sun moving into Leo is really saying to us, what can we do to be more creative, more passionate? How can we bring our personality power to bear in order to improve our situations? Now, I've crashed through the 100,000 mark in terms of subs. I'm keen to get to 101 as quickly as possible. If you'd be so good to click or tap on the bell notification symbol, I'd be most grateful. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast, please give me 3 pieces of personal birth data in time, date and place of birth, and I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life, along with a 12-month personal forecast. All of this is completely unique to you based on your birth data, and there's 30% off with my special package. Please see the link beneath this video. So Capricorn, your week commencing the 18th of July forecast suggests a relationship situation has reached a critical point, but the arrival of Venus in your 7th house of relating on Monday does give you an ace which you can deploy, and that ace is knowing when to assert the things that are really important to you and knowing when to let some other things go. Because the combination of the Sun and Mercury in your 7th house of relating, in opposition to Pluto in your sign, can create quite a polarizing energy between what's good for you, what's good for the other person. And if you feel being tolerating a situation which has not been desirable for some while, it can be a good set of influences because it can help you to assert what you really need. And Mars in your 5th house of romance is also helping you in that regard. But there does, I think, need to be a frank discussion this week. And then as the week goes on, you can convert the situation from the discussion to the decision. And that decision, I think, will be binding. And it's either to invest more or to move on. And it's quite a powerful week for you. And this 8th house energy comes because Mercury moves into Leo, followed by the Sun. The 8th house is very much in keeping with Pluto, the planet of change, which is in your sign at the moment. So some kind of transformation around key relationships does seem to be on the astral cards. But it could be a binding together in a situation which is more suitable for you. And if you are someone who is in business or is more entrepreneurial, the 8th house energy which emerges could see you forge a new alliance which can be really constructive. In fact, Mercury is forging a fantastic link with Jupiter, the planet of growth, towards the end of this week. And it could be something to do with a property matter that you forge a deal around. But a little bit of diplomacy, a little bit of humility could help to ease the tension around a situation which has been quite highly charged of late.